Hey YouTube, I'm here to talk about the assassination of Gianni Versace. All right, I don't know what made me think that sitting there watching a series about a serial murderer was going to be something that's entertaining. Once again, this is very dark. This is the life of a serial killer. So actually, this is the story of Andrew Cunanan. It's not really the story of Versace. Maybe some of that glamorous stuff will happen if they go into Versace's life. But basically, this is Andrew's story, right? So it opens up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This guy, Andrew Cunanan, is living with this guy, David Madsen. David Madsen's a 33-year-old architect. He lives in this beautiful loft, or at least it's very huge. It's a workspace, so it's kind of decorated like between the office and a loft space. It's just a huge loft. Andrew's living there, but this guy is really, I guess they had a relationship, but it's starting to fizzle. So the man, you can tell he doesn't really want him there anymore. We'll get to sort of why I'm drawing that conclusion. Anyway, so Andrew calls this other guy up while Madsen's in the bathroom showering. This other guy is a friend of theirs, who's actually a friend of Andrew's first. Andrew introduced his friend to this guy who he says he's in love with. Madsen's like his boyfriend, right? So he calls him up, tells him to come over. And then David says, no, I don't want to bother anybody. I got a lot of work to do, and I need to get it done. He says, oh, no, you just have him up. So the guy rings the doorbell, and Andrew says they don't have a door where you can just buzz it in like normal people. You buzz them up. You have to go down and let them in. Why don't you go down and let him in? You guys can talk about me on the way up. Kind of drops that snide remark. David says, huh? He doesn't know that this is a setup. All right, so this dude comes up the stairs and true to form, in the elevator, they are both discussing Andrew. Why? Because they wanted him to be gone. These two have been having an affair. Andrew's friend and Andrew's boyfriend have been having a love affair, and they want to be together. They want Andrew gone. They don't know how to tell him. So when they get upstairs, David comes in, takes a seat on the couch. As the other guy, Jeff, walks through the door, Andrew murders him with a claw hammer. Beats this man's brains out, literally. And this other guy, David, is just standing there watching. You know, he's like in shock. Can't believe his which is natural. This man beats his man to a pulp with a ball-peen hammer. Well, in the elevator, the guy had said, well, why do you want to come up? And he says, well, I want to get, he stole something from me. Andrew, when he was at his apartment, stole something from him. What was that? His gun. So this is where the gun comes into play. This is the gun, of course, is going to murder these other people. All right, so they get up there. This man done murdered somebody right in his face. Okay. So this guy, obviously, David, is sort of in shock. He had many early opportunities to get the hell up out of there, right? Even when this man attacked this man with a ball-peen hammer, with the claw hammer, he could have been on his way out an entrance, a window, or anything. No, he's just kind of sitting there and he's stuck, right? So, you know, there are several times when he's locked in his apartment with this boy now. This child done killed this man, left him in the front door. There's blood all over the floor and all, you know. It's a crime scene that can't be easily cleaned up, put it like that. All right, so what else happened? He's trying to escape. He's trying to get out of the house. He uses the excuse at first that he needs to take the dog out. because Andrew hears him moving around and wonder where you going? What are you doing? I'm taking the dog out. The dog's going to start shitting all over the apartment. So he said, oh, you want to take the dog out? Can I go with you? I'll go with you. And he said, no, it's okay. You don't have to go. Oh, you don't want me to go with you? Oh, you want to take him out by yourself? Like that. Of course, rubbing his hand to his back where the gun is to intimidate. So they walk the dog together. Andrew will not let this boy out of his sight after he murdered his lover. So people see them walking together, walking the dog. Andrew's acting strange, but they have no reason to believe that something is wrong necessarily. They come back. Some of David's co-worker, a co-worker of David's, is coming to check on him, right? It's a woman. She's at the door with the manager of the loft building where they live. They bang on the door. They hear the dog is in distress. And it's not like him to miss work. He didn't call in or anything. The woman the manager gets the keys. They get into the apartment and immediately they know. Because the murder happened right as you open the door. Bloodbath. Immediately they know something's wrong. They call the cops. When the cops get there, initially they think, oh shit, somebody has done killed this man. Because they find the body. Did the girls find the body? Or the man? No, I don't think the girls found it. I think the cops, when they came, they found the body. They had shoved it over in a corner somewhere, wrapped up in a rug. This is Andrew's doing, of course, but he makes this other guy, he can't move the body by himself. So David has to help him. But David is not doing any of this willingly. He's looking for a way to get out of the situation. All right, so when Andrew and David hear them knocking at the door, they immediately leave. There's no mystery with what happened here at all. They go out a back way, which is where David should have went the first damn time when he saw that man murder somebody. Anyway, so when they get in, the women get in, there's nobody there. He's not there. They think that the dead body is David. Cops get here, ask what color is the man's hair, there's a description of him. David is a blonde. This guy on the floor obviously has black hair. On this thing. My set is always changing, not because I'm trying to be cute or nothing, but because I'm chasing the light. These lines that come all down my face. Oh, I don't guess it ain't that big a deal. Don't make a big deal, Timothy. There you go. There you go. Perfect. I'll just slide over there. Oh, shit. All right, where's that? Okay. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on with these guys. All right, so Andrew thinks he's in love with this man. He hasn't killed anybody. They met in San Francisco. Apparently right where I'm looking at. I live right off Market Street. He said they met on Market Street in San Francisco. And Andrew was presenting himself as this rich dude. They don't get to this conversation until a little bit later, but I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. David was visiting San Francisco. He met Andrew, and Andrew presented himself as a very wealthy man. They stayed at some fancy hotel, $1,000 a night. Andrew took him there, and he thought he had, just run into this young jet set type guy. Of course, it was all lies. And so they had this affair, this love thing, right? Soon after that, David went back to Minneapolis, where he's from, where he's a thriving architect. He's 33 years old. But he's got his own life there, right? So Andrew eventually makes his way to Minneapolis to be with this guy, the boyfriend. Now, I don't know if this other guy, Jeff, came with Andrew or they met up in Minneapolis. But when they started those two started an affair when Andrew went back to California. as best I can figure it out. I just know it is a love triangle, and Andrew has solved the problem now. But that's the important thing is that's the first kill. That's the first kill. It was over jealousy, right? But David, at some point, when he confronts Andrew about this killing, about all the lies when he met him, he said it was all a lie, that you were this, this worldly man and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, when David, oh shit, I lost my place now. Okay, so when David, I lost that. I'm gonna go back somewhere else. Okay. All right, these cops. Let's go back to the apartment for a minute. So when the cops, first they think that the person dead is David. This is because David is missing. David hasn't come to work. David's apartment. Of course, they're going to assume that this is David rolled up in his carpet because, he's the one missing. They soon figure out that this guy's got black hair is not David. Then they figure when they see that it's not David, they call off the investigation or the crime scene report. In other words, they get everybody out of the house, right? Everybody out, all the cops out. They have to go and get a warrant because since the owner of the apartment is not dead, they're assuming now that he is the killer. And they need a search warrant to go up in this house. So they come back and get back into the house, and now they discover that it's not only is it not David wrapped in that blanket, it is also not Andrew Cunanan. Because of this man's ID. The ID in his pocket tells him exactly who this is, this other guy, Jeff. Now, the reason they have Andrew's name, Andrew Cunanan, is because the co-worker said there's been a guy staying there. And she kind of said he was telling exaggerated stories. She didn't believe him. He was creepy. So now they know all three players, and they know is this guy, Jeff, is the one that is dead. Andrew and David are out on the road, right? This guy, David, is going in and out of shock, not knowing how to get away from this fool. He doesn't really want to get in a confrontation with him in front of other people because he feels that he will kill them. Like when they get off the elevator, leaving the building, a young lady gets on there, and he's putting his hand on the gun, so he knows that if anything goes wrong, he will kill that girl. So that is his hesitation about just escaping, because there had to be many opportunities for them to escape. He's not handcuffed. He's not in chains or anything. He's just with this guy, and he knows he has his gun, right? So they go into a little bit about this guy. You know how the stereotype that gay men don't have much relationship with their fathers or whatever. But apparently this guy, David, is very close to his father. So they go back and they tell us a little bit about their background, about how squeamish he was about hunting. His father was a hunter. Just so some closeness between them. And then about when he came out to his father. And it was a touching scene because he had told his father that he was gay. And his father at first hesitated, said, I need a minute, I don't want to react wrong. And he says, I don't like this, I don't want to pretend that I do. But I want you to know that I love you more than I love myself. It's nice. It's just showing us how close they were. All right. Okay, so they're back on the road. When they go to this restaurant, they got to eat, right? First, David can't even eat. Andrew has no problem at all eating huggies and all kind of big sandwiches and stuff after he just murdered somebody. But David won't eat. He finally gets him into this restaurant, and he starts breaking it down about the meeting and all that kind of stuff, right? About all the lies and the lies and the lies. How Andrew hasn't done anything. He hasn't even worked. And then he says that the reason you killed Jeff, because Jeff figured you out. Jeff figured out first that it was all a lie. So it was a combination, I guess, of him knowing that they were screwing the affair and that Jeff had figured out who he was. that he was a liar. None of what he said was true. Andrew couldn't take it. All right. At some point after that, they're driving on the freeway. David grows some nuts, and although he had so many opportunities to get in that restaurant, he could have just got away, just ran into where the people were. But I guess he was fearful that he would kill everybody in the restaurant. But he was around people several times. On the freeway, he grabs the wheel, so he just has a snap. Grabs the wheel, forces Andrew off the line. Andrew ends up putting a gun in his chest. Right, and then so that shakes up David. He tries to talk him back down again. Andrew pretends that, okay, yeah, oh yeah, we're going to be together. We're going to be in Mexico and all this kind of stuff. But Andrew already knows this is a lie. He should know about lying, right? So Andrew will not believe him. It takes him out in this field, and David makes a run for it. He makes a run. He has some kind of delusion of making it into this trailer and sitting down with the man. I don't know if this man is supposed to be his father or his grandfather or somebody, but it's a delusion in his mind as he's running. Andrew shoots him in the back, and comes over him and shoots him right through his eyeball. Now, I don't know how much was that the actual way it happened, because FX likes to have a lot of blood and guts thrown in their stuff. So I don't know, but he shoots him in the head, put it like that. That's pretty much where it ends. Andrew curls up with this dead man. And then he gets up and he's on his killing spree. Next stop is Madsen's. So we're going backwards in the story. It said it's going to be 9 episodes. So I guess now we're going to go into who in the hell Andrew is exactly. They'll probably go through his child. I mean, when the story first broke, they went all back into his upbringing and his father and all that. So, because he's killed everybody he's going to kill, as far as I know. Next stop, Chicago. All right, people. I hope I did a decent job. I wasn't too far strange. This is a very dark thing, though. My God. And don't be deceived. It's not no Gianni Versace type glamorous type thing. This is strictly about a serial killer. See you next week.